This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
I cannot believe how much your St. Albert is showing.
What do you mean?
Well,
what does it have to do with growing up in St. Albert?
So,
There were a lot of carpool lanes in Saskatchewan, in Maidstone, Saskatchewan, population 998.
no, but I have lived in Vancouver before where there were carpool lanes. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I was saying off air, we were talking about the story that has to do with carpool lanes. And I was like, what exactly is a carpool lane? I've never been in one.
Go into more detail about what you thought it might mean.
So I thought it's a way for cities to save gas. So people all get in the same vehicle together. Mm-hmm. And then I asked, is it just for Ubers and taxis, or do people get into each other's vehicles? Listen, I know that those are really dumb questions. And I've heard about the carpool lane. I've just never cared enough to look into it more. So you're right. My St. Albert is showing.
So the carpool lane is there so that, like, for environmental purposes, so less vehicles are on the road.
Okay, so I was right about that.
So, for example, you and I commute into work in the morning.
So we would be able to use the carpool lane.
If we lived in a city that had them, and during rush hour, it's an advantage to be able to use the carpool lane because everybody else is jammed up in a traffic jam.
What is the difference? Like, why is it more? Is it faster?
Yes. Yeah, it's just a faster lane because only people with two or more people in the car can use it.
How often is it monitored?
They give out huge tickets if you get busted using the HOV lane, as they call it in Texas. It's a $215 ticket, but I've heard it's even more. Like at certain places, it can be up to like $500-$600 if you're using it solo.
Okay, but Ubers and taxis can use it as well.
They would be fine, I would imagine. I don't know for sure about that, but there's two or more people in the car. I think you're good to go.
Well, sue me for not knowing, but here we are learning something new every day.
Mm-hmm. So there is a woman who has gone viral because she got a ticket for driving in one of these lanes by herself. But she's saying, wait a minute, I am with child.
That's probably what her thought process was getting into her car in the first place, was I'm going to be able to get away with this. I have a kid in my stomach.
Right.
And with everything that's happening over there.
Exactly. So
with Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. She made a point that, like, listen, if you're going to consider this a child, then let's do that. So here's her speaking about it.
He starts peeking around. He's like, is it just you? And I said, no, there's two of us. And he's like, well, where's the other person? And I went, right here. And I said, well, not trying to throw a political mix here, but with everything going on, this counts as a baby.
Wow. Good for her.
I mean, she's making a pretty valid point.
Did she get out of the ticket?
No word yet. She does plan to fight it.
Oh, yeah. Well, with how viral this has gone, you got to think they're going to say, yeah, you're right. But then that opens the floodgates for more pregnant people. Listen, let pregnant women do whatever they want. They're pregnant.
Yeah, I know.
Leave her alone.
But then we've all learned over the last few years to be very careful about assuming somebody's pregnancy, right? So to say something like, hey, when you do to somebody who's not pregnant, would be awful.
Man. I've said this in the past on our show. When someone's in their 7th trimester, I don't say anything.
You still won't. So what happens would some people start abusing the privilege and their cheeseburger locker actually has a kid in it. You know what I mean?
Well, we've all seen that Arnie movie. It could happen. What's that movie with Arnie and
like
Danny DeVito?
Okay.
Remember he gets pregnant?
Twins? Is that what you're... No, I don't know.
No, what's the one where he literally gets pregnant?
No, I'm not saying guys will abuse this.
Oh.
I'm saying women will pretend like, oh, yeah, to get out of a ticket and just say that they're pregnant, even though maybe they're not.
Right.
And what's the...
Do you have to prove it?
What's the cop going to do in that situation? Exactly. So it's a slippery slope.
Darcy just wrote in saying... there's a high occupancy vehicle lane in Kelowna. Mm-hmm. They're not sure, but they think it actually has to be 3 or more people in those lanes.
Interesting.
So I wonder if they would even switch it.
Well, now all of a sudden twins.
Oh my gosh. Oh, everybody's texting in about the movie. It's called Junior.
Okay. If it's 3 or more, then you could just say you're expecting twins, though, right?
Oh, true.
See? It's a mess.
Sorry, I thought you were just talking about the movie Twins again. I ignored you there. Sorry.
So a family of coyotes has moved into a backyard in southeast Edmonton.
Yeah. So there's a mom and 2 little pups. And a nearby resident said she saw the coyotes last week, but they have their hands tied. The city can't do anything because they don't know who the owners of the house is that they moved into this backyard underneath their back deck.
Okay.
So they don't know who lives there. They never see anyone outside.
It was just some neighbors that noticed it and made mention to the city.
Yep.
So I wonder if it's an abandoned house?
I'm not sure.
With the price of housing right now, I don't think anybody would leave a house abandoned.
No, it looks like they cut their lawn. Maybe they're on vacation and that's when the coyotes moved in. That sucks.
Well, here's what you do. Get a slingshot.
No, we're not gonna.
No, I'm not saying you try to do damage,
There's puppies.
but just annoy them a bit. They'll move.
The city can't take action to move them to another site without the property owner's permission. So, yeah, I bet they're on vacation. What a surprise when you get home. Mm-hmm. Especially if you have dogs. Oh, my gosh, that's terrifying.
Here's the thing. The city's going to go over there, round them up, move them into a bush somewhere, and then the coyotes will be like, no, we prefer the old place.
And then go right back.
Go back.
That's
they
like
quite
mice.
often do that.
If you don't kill a mouse that's in your house, it doesn't matter where you drop it off. It's coming back. It will travel. If it was content living in your home, they can smell it. They can find their way back.
You told me this before, and it was actually pretty wild. It was like if you drop off a mouse anywhere within 70 kilometers, it'll find its way back.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I learned this when I worked in West Edmonton Mall because I worked at the Hudson's and we would take the garbage out in their back alleys that they have in the actual mall. And I just ran into some guys that work there in the maintenance and they were catching a mouse. And they had to kill it. And I was obviously upset. So I said something. And they were like, no, we actually have to kill it.
Here's
Sorry.
what you do. You take the mouse that you caught to the family of coyotes.
You know it's going to die, but in a way that's
natural causes, yeah. And then you get the slingshot out for the coyotes.
So these neighbors that are being super nosy about the coyotes, they're 2 seniors, so they're probably just having the best time. This is the most interesting thing that's happened in their neighborhood in quite some time.
Just looking out the window constantly.
They've been giving updates saying, yeah, the mom leaves in the morning, leaves the 2 pups.
Nosy neighbors, I love it.
Comes back in the afternoon and probably brings food or whatever. But yeah, well, how entertaining for them.
I had a buddy in my hometown, and his grandma was very nosy.
Okay.
She wasn't a very kind woman either, to be honest. She was, this kind of explains her personality. She was chaperoning for me at a junior golf tournament once.
Okay.
And I peed in the bush, and she docked me 2 strokes for peeing in the bush. She said indecent exposure is two strokes. You need to use the bathrooms.
What way were you facing?
No, I was in the bush peeing. So anyway,
Ryder's just facing the green.
this lady would constantly look out her window and give dirty looks to any passerbys. So we all just started flipping her the bird every time we went by.
That's rude.
Well,
But
away
you're
she
right.
goes. Mind your own business.
There are so many nosy neighbors in every neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'll never forget those sweet angels that live across, because we're in a cul-de-sac and then there's a cul-de-sac right across the way. Mm-hmm. And there's this sweet woman that always brings nuts and bolts around Christmas time.
See, we wouldn't be giving the finger to
No, but
her.
I'll never forget the first time she came to the door. We just love listening to you guys when you're out on your front deck. I'm like, what? That is literally where we have all of our heart-to-hearts. We have the grossest conversations. Are you telling me everything we say echoes across the cul-de-sac and you can hear it?
Yeah.
You're 80.
We're talking about killing coyotes over there. I apologize for getting you the wrong thing at the pharmacy. You sent me out with one mission, and I failed.
Honestly, it was cute. You tried your hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things like this happen when you grab the wrong item. And so we were asking you for your stories of what you sent someone out to grab and what they actually came home with. So over the weekend, I had a pretty bad migraine. And I just texted Ryder, who was already out and about with his daughter and a couple friends. And I said, would you mind grabbing me some Gravol on your way home? I was really nauseous. So when I went to open up the container of it, I was like, these are weird. It's like a strange shape. You're supposed to put them up your butt. They weren't the ones that you
I got
ingest.
the rectal ones by accident.
So I thought it was really funny, and I posted it on my Instagram stories, just titling it, "When I Rely on Ryder to Grab Stuff for My Migraine." But the amount of nurses in my DM saying, oh, those are the ones you want. apparently they're the best ones for being nauseous because you don't puke it up and it absorbs faster. A lot of people, when they're pregnant and nauseous, that's what they'll do.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. Did I try it? No.
Well, and like some people would probably have an uncomfortable time actually doing that. So, I mean, we could get like a long hose and then just,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like if necessary, but.
No, I didn't end up using it. Thank you very much for trying.
Yeah, just about a minute ago there, I said I got the rectal one by accident, but I combined the words and said by accident. So that's when you combine rectum and an accident. An accident.
Okay, so hit us up and tell us your story. Kat says, I sent someone out for a jug of milk. They returned 2 hours later with $47 worth of candy and no milk.
Something tells me there was maybe a little bit of weed involved in that.
There is nothing worse than wanting one thing from the grocery store, getting a bunch of other stuff, and completely forgetting the one item. It is a common occurrence, I think. So I'm not mad at whoever that person was that did that to Kat. Angie wrote in saying, I sent my husband for Polysporin. He came home with Preparation H.
I know that like Polysporin can be used to heal tattoos, but Preparation H is even better. So depending what you needed it for.
Also, Preparation H is really good for swollen under eyes because it takes away swelling, right?
Especially for somebody like Pete Davidson.
Who has butthole eyes, you're right.
Yeah. It clears it right up. 780-784-7107. What's up?
I was making tomato bisque, and I realized that I didn't have enough heavy cream or whipping cream to finish it. So we lived downtown, and so I sent him to the Shoppers on Jasper Ave, and I said, I need heavy cream or whipping cream. So he comes back all proud and brings me an aerosol canister of whipping cream.
That was the sweetest tomato bisque you've ever had.
Oh, man, there was no soup.
But did you have dessert?
I guess I could have, yeah.
Gary wrote in saying, good morning. My wife doesn't send me to the store without one of our teenagers because I always buy the wrong stuff. See? You got to bring someone that's trustworthy.
Yeah.
Or just do it yourself. Sometimes it gets to a point where it's like, all right, maybe that's what people do on purpose so they don't have to go out and get stuff. Ryder, is that you?
What? This text from Mary says, I was really craving a salad. My husband asked what I wanted him to pick up for lunch. I went into great detail about the exact order I wanted. He brought home McDonald's and said my order was too complicated.
That is so typical.
And this text from Anonymous says, I told him I wanted something romantic for Valentine's Day this year. He got me a doormat that said welcome on it, but it had hearts on it, so he thought it was romantic.
It's actually a pretty good gift.
Is it a doormat?
You got to replace your doormats. Sometimes they get too dusty. They're hard to clean.
All right, fair enough. You're easy to shop for on Valentine's Day by the sounds of it. What's up?
Back when I was a smoker, I got my ex to go and pick me up a pack of smoke. And she came back with tubes and tobacco. Told me that I had to roll my own. So about a week later, she told me that she needed some feminine products. So I went to the store and got her cotton and a string.
Said make your own.
Oh, my gosh.
Time for Unsung Heroes, where we give shout-outs to people, places, and things that don't always get the attention and notoriety they deserve. Let me be your hero.
Shout out to the weather and how it's about to be over 32 and extremely sweaty, which is also the name of my autobiography. It's true.
Shout out to the heat wave coming and being slightly annoying. And then being even more annoyed about the people complaining about the people complaining about the heat. You know what I'm saying? How there's the people that complain about the heat and you're like, come on. But then there's the people that go off about them.
Yeah.
And here I am complaining about the people complaining about the people complaining.
But what are you going to do when I complain about the heat come Wednesday?
Complain.
Yeah. Shout out to finally taking some time to ride my bicycle down the back path again, to feel nostalgic about the entire experience, the sore butt cheeks, and consuming over 20 bugs in 5 minutes. Whee!
Shout out to the New York restaurant who just announced the return of its $200 plate of French fries to celebrate National French Fry Day.
Okay, how many fries are on this plate? $200?
Yeah. The way inflation's going, though, this is going to be a smoking deal come this time next year.
Don't say things like that. Also, if you haven't had the fries from Provincial Pub, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Had some just recently over the weekend, and I can't stop thinking about them. Shout out to people who are annoyed that they have to scan a QR code for a menu when they're on their phone the entire time they're out for dinner anyway. What is the problem?
And shout out to Howie Mandel, who posted a TikTok featuring a prolapsed anus. This season of AGT is pretty weird.
I'm just shocked that he posted that because he's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Yet he's into that?
But he's not into it.
Make it make sense.
Like, he's not like, ooh, check out this one.
Then why did he post it?
Because he's just talking about it. It's just a health thing. It's no different than people posting, like, pimple popping videos, is it? I guess it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
The Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
Play 107.